Doom gets me hyped every goddamn time. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It's Monday, March 7th. March is here, Max. He's Maxwell Smart, by the way. I'm Conor Mac. We are here on this Monday. We got a short card before we're going to have a ton of games, Max. But there's some games with some good stuff tonight. I think some good games to bet on, which I can't wait. But how was your weekend? Because mine was probably the best all year. I think so. I mean, I'm going to have to double check, but very, very good. Even Sunday was good. The few games I played, won them all. How was your day, bro?
Best Saturday of my season so far. Gus was crying to the tunes of $1,400 and change. I definitely offered him to send his girlfriend over for sexual favors to pay his tab. He declined on that. I called him a pussy. He called me a midget. And it went back and forth like that over text message for a little while. But at the end of the day, he still owes me some money. He's still a piece of shit. And I told him that I'd freaking cook him or buy him some really good souvlaki.
Wow, a little peace offering.
I probably would put a little bit of rat poison in it. I'd probably put a little bit of rat poison in it.
Well, there you go. It wasn't. It was all a trick.
As always.
We'll get to the chat in a second, Max, real quick, because there's been hit us with the line movement in these about. I think we have 10 games. It's 11 today. What's caught your eye? There's some ones that have really dropped, but and even in one game, but I still like the under in it. Hit me with the line moves, man.
Yeah, if you're a middling person, this is your daydream. Yeah. This is what you've been waiting for like 120 days. You've been like, oh yeah, I want some extreme line movement towards championship and semifinal fucking unders, and then I'm gonna hit the middle on the over. Well, this is the day to do so. Starting off with our 6 o'clock game that I'm excited to motherfucking watch is going to be Delaware. It's going to be Towson. We've seen that total. Well, first off, we've seen the spread. Delaware open up as a 6.5 point favorite, a 6.5 point underdog. Can't even get the fucking words out of my mouth. And then they are now 4.5. So some very nice movement towards that Delaware Blue Hen team, and that total opening up at 141 got as low as I think is like 135.5. Now it's back up to 137, 137.5. So U-shaped line movement on that buckaroo. Now, when we talk about another game that I will be going on Fox Sports Radio in Wilmington tonight to talk about, Charleston and UNC Wilmington. This is an incredible matchup with John Meeks coming off a 31-point game last night, battling that tendonitis. What's he got in the fucking cave tonight for it? Well, we're going to find out. This total opened up, Conor, at 152, and it's down as low as 147.5 right now. That is a very significant line move for this game by my projections. Moving on down the board, Conor, I have to stop at the Summit League, where South Dakota and South Dakota State are going to be freaking renewing their rivalry third time this year. And that total opened up at 157 is down to 151. We saw South Dakota State open up as a 7-point favorite. They're now a 9-point favorite in a big rivalry game against a very improved Coyote team. Now, when we talk about the other game in the Summer League, we did see Oral Roberts open up as a 3-point dog. That's down to 1 or pick 'em right now. So there is some love for Oral Roberts, and I can't wait to talk about that game later on in the show. Going to the Horizon League, which has been very inefficient and lackluster offensively at times. Not lately, though, but we have 2 games that the under has been heavily hit up. And when we talk about Wright State and Cleveland State, we had a total that opened up at 149. It's down as low as 144.5 right now. Extreme love for the under there at freaking Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Now, in the other game, Northern Kentucky and Purdue Fort Wayne, we have seen that total open up at 137 down to 133.5, Conor. So serious line moves for these games, like I was saying. When we go down the board, we don't stop. We have to talk about Furman and Chattanooga. Furman opened up as a 1-point dog. They're now a 2.5-point dog. The total opened up at 143. It's down as low as 136.5. It is insane. Going to ULL and Georgia State in the Sun Belt Championship, a game that surprisingly opened up at 138 is down now to 132.5. And Connor, I think that this game still stays under, and I think you think that as well. I can read your fucking mind. When it comes to the West Coast Conference, which is our final tournament of the night, we do look at Gonzaga, who has had difficulty with parts of their offense versus San Fran, but have still been able to beat them by 16 points each time. That spread went from 12 to 14, very understandably so. When we do look at the last game, which is Santa Clara, which I call Canadian University in Cali, we do have a fucking serious matchup. Santa Clara has proven that they can destroy the kryptonite that is the Gales. And we'll see if Jalen Williams can do that tonight. That total opened up at 141, down to 138. And Santa Clara was a 5-point underdog this afternoon when I checked, and that's gone back down to 4. And we've seen it bounce up and down. So it's really about when you get this line that's going to determine. And Connor, like I say often, and Noli No says also, play your number, not the line movement in situations like this at this time of the season.
Those are great words by our guy Noli knows for sure. Man, let's get to the games, Max. Let's get through them. Let's go right down the board. 871, 872. Delaware, Towson. This is the semis you talked about in the Colonial here. Towson, 4.5-point favorite. You talked about this total coming down 141 to 137. Towson get it done. Obviously, there's been money coming on Delaware, and this line has moved since last night. What do you like here?
Listen, Towson's going to have to show that if Charles Thompson doesn't lace it up, which is a big question mark right now, you really have to choose which way you're going to approach this game. If you think that he's not going to play, then it's going to put a real freaking strain on how they play on both ends of the court. This is a very important guy. I do think that with Towson and the way that they've been scoring lately, if they can get the tempo up, if they can get into the 70s, they will win this game. But this just smells like Delaware Blue Hen being able to take advantage. Dylan Painter should be back and available at least for 20 minutes of this game. And then that gives Jair Davis, who's really stepped up and really stepped into that void that was left by Painter when he was injured. This is a guy that, first off, is exceptionally defensively. He's great on the glass, even though he is losing some height. I don't think it matters in this situation, in this game. Last year, Towson had a couple 7-footers. They don't play those guys this year. And I just think that at this time of the season with Delaware, they should be 1-1 in the season series, Connor. They blew a big lead that they built up in the first half in the first game. And I think that this is a situation where I got to be looking at the Hens, especially if Charles Thompson is not in it.
What do you think about this total, Max, now that it's come down to 137?
Well, I think that when you look at the first half total, it's definitely tricky taking the under because it did open up at 66.5. But when we're talking about the full game total and the extending of games, the possibility of overtime, I do think you have a middling situation taken over.
Yeah, this is dropped, came crashing down. I'm going to look into it some more, but a lot of the money and even the tickets on the over, so it's very interesting spot there. All right, let's keep rolling. The other side here, like you talked about, Charleston versus UNC Wilmington. Charleston's a 2-point favorite here, Max. I like Wilmington getting a couple points. We'll see. This might be their last game that I use them. I lean to them in this spot. And by the way, I might not go full board. This would be a live or a second half bet, as it happened last night, because I had Wilmington -4. This isn't a very good kind of first half team. They're just unbelievable in the second half, is Wilmington. So it may be one that I just wait, and maybe if they're down 5 or 6, I'm going to jump on them at halftime. But I think there's a little value catching the bucket at least. What do you like here? Should be a good game. Charleston, UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, I am worried about what happened as far as what you got last night from Charleston in a game that was not close at really any point. I do think that you may have gotten the best of John Meeks. Does John Meeks have another 30-point game with those tendonitis-filled knees? I'm worried about that. And I love what this team has done as far as rotating guys in and out of the rotation, switching up starting lineups to give their opponents different looks. I like that. But you need your best from Demetrius Underwood tonight. He only played 14 minutes yesterday. I am a little worried about what's going on with that because even in a game where you're big, you still want to keep him in rhythm, keep that freaking that stroke active. Brendan Tucker is a guy that can be an X factor if Meeks isn't on. So you definitely have to close out on his 3-point shooting and provide some help defense if he's going into the paint. I do think on the other side of the basketball, when we look at Wilmington, with Jalen Sims and Michael Coro, this is definitely a group that, like you said, has played with fire early and really played a lot of tales of two halves. I think that the most simple way to play this game is to freaking take Charleston first half on the money line and then to take Wilmington full game. I don't think that Charleston has the fuel in the tank, and I do think that Wilmington is better coached with a better defensive philosophy that will show up tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. There, I think Charleston maybe a good bet early, and how good Wilmington is late in games. Let's get to the Sanford Premier Center, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Max, Summit League, South Dakota State. You talked about at 157, this was crazy, but this has come down so much. It's interesting me to the over maybe in this game. I haven't made a bet. Obviously, South Dakota State's 9-point favorites. What do you like in this one? Team total, what here?
Yeah, I think that that's the easiest way to play this game, Connor. When we look at South Dakota, they really put in some nice work yesterday, and the key for them is to be getting off to a good start early on in this game. South Dakota with this roster, not a lot of people thought very highly of this motion offense in the beginning of the season, but with Chris Perro's Hunt and what he's been able to do facilitating, getting the best out of Mason Archibald and Hunter Goodrick, this is exceptional fucking play for them. I worry that the offense doesn't show tonight. Exceptional 3-point shooting. We're talking about like top 25 in the nation, and that is what you're going to need tonight. You're going to have to make free throws, and you're going to have to be able to close out jump shooters, because what do we know about the Jackrabbits? They aren't the best break you off the dribble type team. They're going to be able to use ball movement and a lot of freaking passing off the low block by Doug Wilson to get those jump shots that you aren't able to freaking close out and freaking deter from. I just think that at the end of the day, South Dakota State probably puts it on them late, but I want to ride the Coyotes at least early, give them the benefit of the doubt, and show some faith in a team that really can match up offensively. It's just, can they do enough defensively?
Yeah, and their defense has been good at times, Max, against in conference. But South Dakota State's a different animal, a different offense. But I don't know. 9 might be too many. That one's very interesting there. Let's get to the other one, Max. Oral Roberts, North Dakota State. State's about a 1-point favorite everywhere. There's maybe a pick 'em out there, but mostly -1 across the board. And across the board right now, too, is 150.5 on the total. What do you like here, Oral Roberts, North Dakota State?
I love my Canadians, Connor, and this is a Canadian that I haven't called his name very often this year, but Elijah Lufiel from Milton, Ontario, a place that there's a jail that I know quite well. This is a kid that is just a fucking beast. He just wants to hurt somebody when he jams the ball. He wants to literally tear the rim down every time that he gets it. And seeing him last night and how effective he was, how he was literally throwing around Western Illinois front court players, there was no one that could physically stop him from going where he wanted to go. And I am worried that he can't bring that 2 games in a row. That is my biggest fucking concern, because what have we seen from this Oral Roberts team lately? We've seen some balanced scoring. We've seen other guys step up and put their fucking work in by hitting some jump shots and getting to the rim. Max Abmas is going to have a lot of defensive coverage on him. He's going to see double teams. He's going to be tempted to take bad shots. But if these guys like Francis Lascisse, like Elijah freaking Lufiel, if these guys can step up and provide some of that extra scoring, Oral Roberts has a chance tonight. If they don't, they lose, simply put. So the Bison, they got Twin Towers. They are going to be formidable. They got size at the guards. So you're going to really have to freaking have some good off-ball movements, some good cutters to the bucket, and you're going to have to be able to freaking get guys to go under screens instead of going on top of them. So we'll see what happens, but I think that Oral Roberts is built for games like this. This is where coaching matters, and if they can bring some good three-point defense, I do think that they can limit the Bison enough inside to make this a game at least late.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see much value here. We basically got to pick them, Max. So I think the game will be close for sure in this one. All right, let's go to the Horizon League, Max. Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Indianapolis, Indiana. Wright State, Cleveland State. Wright State, it's about a pick 'em. Wright State's a 1-point favorite in some spots. This total has come down. It's right at 145. There's a few 144.5s. What do you like here? But first, shout out to James. Callie with the $9.99 dono. Damn, appreciate it, my man. He said, shout out to the best damn chat in the game. I'll get to the chat. I'll let Max hit this game. Thank you so much for the dono. But let me know, Wright State, Cleveland State, Max.
This is definitely a spot, Connor, that I'm worried about Wright State's offense early. I think that by the numbers, they should be able to get off to a good start. But when Cleveland State, who plays that extended zone at a pretty high rate at times during the game, takes away a lot of Wright State's offensive qualities that we've come to know and love. I think that when Cleveland State is pressing Wright State, I think that's when you can really find a lot of turnovers happening on the Wright State side, and that will be a recipe for a blowout. I think that while Wright State may be able to do this for 20 minutes, I don't think that they're going to be able to do it for 40. I think that finishing at the rim is obviously one of the biggest, highest, most important things for this Wright State team to do on offense, but I just don't think that they're going to get that same kind of success getting to the rim versus Cleveland State. I like what Tanner Holden does. I like Grant Basile. They are very exceptional scorers, capable of putting up those 30-point games, those game-changing type games. And let's not forget, motivation should be at its highest for all these teams. All these guys are playing for that one freaking chance. Cleveland State has the freaking has the target on their back. It's up to Wright State to put the freaking bullet in the heart and put the motherfuckers down. I'm not sure it happens, Connor. I think Cleveland State finds a way to win.
You think they win again here? I only worry about Max is the free throw shooting late with this Cleveland State team. It just scares the living shit out of me, and it's burned me. I think they're a little bit better than Wright State, and Wright State defensively sometimes is not very good, especially perimeter defense.
Well,
it's an interesting one for sure. Alrighty, let's hit up the chat real quick, Max. Shout out to the chat, just like James. Shout out to him for the dono. We appreciate you, my man. Ron Lofton, Jake Kaiser, Paulie Walnuts, Peanuts, Sam Comer, great to see you. Dat Fan, Michael, how's it going? Brian, Real Deal Prime, aka The Grinder. Selling heat pumps all across Canada. Bill McHugh, Jerry Conor, Nasty Nate, Talk Sports with JT. Good to see you, my guy. T-Mac up in here. BT, AJN, Bruce, J-Ro from TCATL, Michael Ervelina, shout out. Yeah, thanks. Check out the golf show if you guys like betting on golf. Rodney Martin, Jay Peasy, Danny Lopez, Andrew Carr, Christopher Comentini. Shout out to everyone here. Malik, what's up? Arthur Mead Jr., Nathan Cerna, Jefferson C., G. Martinez, The Truth, Tori, what's going on? Ninja 13, East Woodmore, man, CT Bays, what's going on? Boston, Nick, Ryan. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We need the hundo. It is Mando, and we're only at 52. So do me a favor, hit the like button.
Connor, I will say this. I will say this just to add on. Cleveland State went 13 for 15 in their recent game against Robert Morris. I do think that they have figured out how to hit their free throws, and they will not disappoint us tonight. Unlike the fucking noise coming from outside. Fucking turn it off. Okay.
All right, let's get to the other one, Max. Northern Kentucky, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Northern Kentucky are 2-point favorites. The Norse. This line's dropped this total like a lot of games today. It seems like every total has dropped. It is now basically 133.5 everywhere, a few 134s. What do you like in the other semi here, Max? Northern Kentucky, Purdue, Fort Wayne.
It's very surprising to see this total go where it's gone, considering that Purdue Fort Wayne hasn't scored less than 70 points since their last loss against Wright State.
Max, I think that would. Yeah, this was the one I was a little confused at real quick. Sorry, that this was kind of the only one that I kind of disagreed with going down so much. So that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. Like you said.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, because when you look at Purdue Fort Wayne, let's think about this. This is a very defensive, efficient team, probably the most efficient team in the conference by a healthy margin. But the problem is, if they're not hitting jump shots, they're in trouble. They don't crash the offensive glass. They don't extend possessions. That's going to hurt them in games that they can't shoot over that Northern Kentucky zone. I think that with Northern Kentucky, let's also not forget that they could be 0-2 in this series if they didn't have an epic fucking comeback. I think it was like a 21-5 or some shit like that. It was ridiculous. If you were on Purdue Fort Wayne, you were probably punching walls and shouting at your neighbors, "I'm gonna whip you with a potato." But I think that Purdue Fort Wayne, at least early, is the better defensive team, has dominated first halves in both matchups. I don't see a reason why not to like them, and I don't see a reason not to like their team total. Even in a game that could be under 65.5 is very obtainable. So we saw with Mount St. Mary in a game against Bryant. We see it again tonight with Purdue Fort Wayne. Possibly.
Yeah, very interesting one there. I like this Northern Kentucky team, but can they win on the short number on this neutral floor? Purdue Fort Wayne playing some of its best basketball. Should be a good one. All right, Max, let's get to the Southern Conference Championship game. Cherokee Center, Asheville, North Dakota, Furman, Chattanooga. Chattanooga is a 2-point favorite. There's a few 2.5s here. This line's come down from 143 to 137. I like both these teams, Max. It should be a good, close game. It's tough for me. I'm not going to probably bet this one. I think Chattanooga wins. I just don't love that it's now gone to 2.5. At a lot of places. What do you think here, Furman, Chattanooga?
Number matters, Connor. The number matters. 2.5, that is a dangerous number. True. It's a championship game. Furman has not been and won one of these games in, I think, like 40 fucking years. I literally think it's 40 years since they've won one of these championship games. I don't think it happens tonight. This is a Furman team that's had problems getting consistent jump shots and getting consistent scoring versus Chattanooga, with Chattanooga not having a healthy and full lineup in either game. When you're not able to take advantage of Casey Hankton, being out of the lineup, when you're not able to take advantage of freaking D'Souza being out of the lineup in the same game, you got problems. So I think that with this Furman team, it's been very impressive what obviously Malachi Smith has done. Obviously, he almost had a triple-double the last time that they played, but with David Jean-Baptiste and his bulldog ability to get into the rim, and then with Darius Banks, the freaking Western Carolina transfer, I think he's Western Carolina. I can't remember. No, it may have been James Madison. James Madison transfer. He's been awesome. He's been that third perimeter scorer that they needed. So I just think that Chattanooga, you're getting them at their best, and I think that the line reflects that now. I think they win the game. I'm just not crazy about 2.5 points.
Yeah, I don't love it either. Not in these close ones. But one thing with Furman, they shoot a ton of threes, and if they're hot, Max. But you're right. Chattanooga's been one team that's been able kind of to defend them, been there a little bit of their kryptonite. Chattanooga's had a number on them lately, for sure. Let's get to this one. Good game in the Sun Belt. Pensacola, Florida, Pensacola Bay Center here. We got Lafayette, Georgia State. They're now a 3.5 point favorite. Max, this has moved from 2, 3.5. I even saw 4 for a minute here. And we talked about this total. It's gone down to 132.5. There's some few 133s. I thought it was crazy. It was 138 when it opened. What do you like, Lafayette, Georgia State?
I think that with Georgia State, they are just on a fucking mission. This is a team that started 0-4 in conference play. We all were saying they're dead. They're lost in the water. They got nothing. But they said, stick it in your fucking ass, bud, because we're coming for your fucking cupcakes. And you know what? They're coming for everybody's cupcakes. Don't get in their fucking way, ULL. I'm wearing your hat because I'm freaking warning you. I'm giving you a warning out there. You don't want to fucking play these guys, all right? First off, they're going to pressure the shit out of you. They're going to turn you over. And then when you do finally get to the rim, they're going to be able to defend their rim without fouling. Yes, Aaliyah Newsom's going to be on the floor. Jalen Thomas is going to be on the floor. Yeah. And did we talk about that pick and roll offense with Corey Allen, Kane Williams? Come on, man. This team has been to March Madness, 5 times since 2015? There's a reason why Coach Lanier is coaching this job still, and there's a reason why this team went on a run that it did. ULL, you've had a nice run, but if you don't have Kobe Julian, if you don't have O in the front court, that puts that much more pressure on Jalen Davenport, obviously on fucking Greg Williams. I just don't think that they got the fuel in the tank again tonight. So I think Georgia State wins. It's one of my favorite parlay fillers.
I think they can win too. I don't love the 3.5, but I think they beat Lafayette in a close one. And we talked about this total. I still think the number's fine. Both these teams played earlier in the year, and it stayed in the 60s. I see it similar, unless you get an OT. We don't need OT here. But I still think there's value even at 133 here. I know this has come down. Normally I don't think that, but with these two, Georgia State's so good defensively, Max. And they've been great to the under. I'm sure you know about it. They just went over yesterday with App State. I don't think they shoot as well. I think it stays under this number, even though it's come down. All right, let's get to the last few here, Max. West Coast Conference semifinals here. Orleans Arena in Vegas right here. We got San Francisco, Gonzaga. The Zags are 14-point favorites, 14.5 even some spots. This total is 153.5, 154. The Zags roll after a loss to St. Mary's, or can the Dons hang around here in this number?
Well, they're getting them at a bad time. It's not great. It's not great, Connor. The Dons, they may not have Masalski. That takes away one of their best rollers to the bucket in that pick and roll that was highly successful versus Gonzaga. But let's not forget that even though it was successful versus Gonzaga, they were able to really limit some of the transition scoring opportunities for the Zags. they still lost the games by fucking double digits and right around this number. So I think that Gonzaga knows what they're doing. I do think that if Masalski plays, he doesn't play full minutes, because what does this team really have to play for if they have to actually win this game? They don't. They are being talked about by bracketologists as already having an at-large bid. And if Todd Golden decides that, well, I care about the big tournament more than freaking playing him in a game that we're probably not going to beat Gonzaga, then yeah, so be it. The first half is going to be very indicative. If San Fran can stay in this game early, then maybe they'll figure something out. But if Gonzaga's backcourt comes ready to hit threes and Masalski isn't in the lineup to defend some of those defensive rebounds that turn into runouts for freaking Gonzaga's big men, then yeah, I just don't think that anything's going to change from the first two games.
Yeah, should be a good one. Let's get to the late night one, though. Our last one today here, Max. I think this game's interesting. Santa Clara, St. Mary's. St. Mary's 5-point favorites. They're coming off the win over Gonzaga in their last game. This total's come down 141 to 138. St. Mary's won by 8 at home, 73-65, and Santa Clara beat them at home 77-72, I believe. I think this is a close game here at the Orleans Arena. There's just Santa Clara seems to match up well with St. Mary's. I like the points here a little bit in this one. What do you like, Santa Clara, St. Mary's?
I definitely like points for Santa Clara in this game. I think that it's very, very, very important for them to get off to a good start early in this game. When you look at the firepower this team has, you smile. You're just like, wow, I like you guys. Keyshawn Justice, PJ Pipes, Jalen Williams, who should be a fucking player in the NBA.
Yeah, he's very good. Of course,
then you got a couple Canadians, bro. Joseph Rakic, Jaden Bediako.
Ding.
I love my fellow Canadians, Connor. But I just think that this is a team that's finally figured out how to play against the St. Mary's team, how to score against the St. Mary's team, and how to fucking take advantage of lack of scoring efficiency at times from the Gales. I think that this is a first half team total spot. If they can't put up 30 plus in the first half against St. Mary's early,
they have problems.
They got the fight in them.
Yeah, you're right. I think they do, though. They can score. And even, at St. Mary's 65, St. Mary's great defense. This team is obviously they play slow, but 77-72. I just think on a neutral court, I'll take the points here with Santa Clara in this one. Alrighty, Max, that is it. Short card, man. We're gonna have some busy days ahead.
Yeah, baby. Fuck yeah.
Nice card, yeah. It's great weekend. After Connor, last week was so middling, kind of shitty. That we needed a weekend like that, Max. I needed it. Go ahead,
Connor. You know what we love about college basketball? It's always heavy. Like, come on.
It's true.
I love it.
It is true.
I need the volume, Connor. I need to pay for the ladies of the night for the rest of the year. Okay?
I know. Shout out to the chat. We only got 81 likes. Come on, we got over 200 people up in here. Get a little more like here. Hundo.
Get to it. And I can tell you guys stories about Glenn's wife and the sexual natured text messages she's sending me. It's vulgar. Very vulgar.
Let's leave that for another time. Bill, Jake, Nilo, Mills, Rodney Barton, Dunya, Jay Peasy, Ninja 13, Steve G, CT Bays. Shout out to everyone. If you haven't hit the like button, do it. But first, we'll be right back. We'll give you a better two or whatever Max has. But first, let's get a word from our sponsors. Southtown 101, best bar in San Antonio. Can't wait to be there watching college basketball shortly. So if you're in the San Antonio area, check out Southtown 101 for sure. Go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports. You know the deal. Transfer the Bitcoin, they'll match you. Put in 1,000, they'll match you with 1,000. Go to manscaped.com, 20% off promo code PubSports. Get the Lawnmower 4.0, but get the whole kit and caboodle, everything that comes with it there. And last, the pub rub. Get it. Rub it on it. Get it on your meat. Season your meat. Shit is great. I've used it a bunch of times. Get both of them, 2 for $25 at pubsportsradio.com. While you're there, cop one of our Pub Sports Radio t-shirts. Help support us here at Pub Sports Radio. All right, Max. What do you like today? Good. We got over 100. Yeah, we need 125, but for now, for a short show, I'll take the 100.
I'm just happy to get 100. You know, I'm a modest guy, not really, but
we're raising the stakes, baby. It's March, 125.
Raising the stakes. Okay. Yeah. I like steak.
Normally we got 20 more minutes, and I think we can get there, but today we're good. But Max, hit the damn like button. All right.
Yeah, I'm opening the show as we speak to hit the like button.
What's your bets today? What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, obviously it's always tough to figure out what we're going to do, but I just got to have belief in what this Santa Clara team is capable of doing. I understand that they're going into a very difficult defense and a difficult team to match up against, but third time's the charm. I think that they win the season series, and I think it starts with them being able to get over that first half team total at 30.5. I'm going with Santa Clara and the Canadian contingency to give me 31 points, or I may fucking take a belt and beat myself with it.
He's going to beat himself with his own belt. They are going to get 31. They're going to cover that number tonight, Max. The +5, I think, in that game. And I gave this out because I just liked it too much. I know it's not the best of the number now, but I still think it stays under. Obviously, we like the Santa Clara game. That was Max. I agree with it. The team total over and the 5 points. But Lafayette, Georgia State, got to get it. I got a 133 here left. But most places 132.5. It came crashing down, but he still gets under. And by the way, shout out to Matty Ice, his taint play of the day. South Dakota State, South Dakota over 151. Let's just say I have that as well. So I endorse the taint. I thought it dropped way too much there. So what kind of taint, Max?
Scarlett Johansson taint.
Shakalaka, baby. Scarlett Johansson taint approved by Max and me. I love it. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow with a big Tuesday. He's the great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here. We be pumping! Peace!